with part 2, working on adjective order. And I'm going to go down here to the sentences that we need for completing this conversation. And I'll try to get back here where you can see me. All right. Alonzo thought his aunt's car was ugly, too small, and too old. I think Alonzo might be a teenager and his aunt might be a very different generation, because teenagers can say that older adults' cars are ugly oftentimes just because they don't think they're cool. That's just my guess here with Alonzo. So we do have opinion here, and actually opinion kind of runs all the way through. We have size and we have age in the correct order, but in a sense we have opinion all the way through, particularly because we use the word to, which really exemplifies the idea of smallness and of age. All right, the next one is another opinion type of sentence. Saloni's chicken curry recipe is delicious, authentic, and quite healthy. All right, so we have the opinion word delicious here right off, and that is certainly up to the individual. Then we have the word authentic. Authentic has to do with origin, certainly, especially if it is written in this way: authentically Indian. Now, I don't know anything really much about Indian food, because the times I've had Indian food, I haven't particularly liked it. So it's not a cuisine that I have, exposed myself to a lot of times. So I would think if you were Indian, or if you knew Indian food well, then you would probably correct me by saying, the particular area, part of the country, province, that this food is coming from, because that would make the origin much more specific. All right, so authentically Indian would make it specific to origin. Authentic alone could be either origin or opinion. And then quite healthy, we're using that word quite, that adjective, because it is another one of those exemplifiers. It takes the word following it, and it gives importance or specificity to, in this case, the word healthy. Quite healthy. Again, we have opinion, because maybe it's not as healthy as she thinks. Maybe someone else would say, well, it's healthy in this way, but not in that way. So there is an element here of opinion as well. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I'll send some practice along for you to do, and I'm sure it's going to be mostly review. Now, I want to take this, though, to the next step, and that is, how do we punctuate adjectives? How do we decide when a comma is needed and sometimes not needed? This is actually, I think about this one a lot. I told you I didn't think so much about the order of adjectives, because that kind of comes naturally. What sounds right is usually correct with the order. But the determination around commas is something that almost every time I write anything of length, even an email that's a few sentences long, I have to consider that particular question. So that's what's up on the top board. I've got to move my things, so give me just a moment while I find the little screw that lets me lift. I know this is rather annoying for you when you're watching to see me doing this. but I'm glad that I have the ability to raise and lower my camera. That helps a lot. Okay, so this then becomes the topic of coordinate and cumulative adjectives, okay? Now, coordinate, I like to think of along a line, okay? Along a straight line, and that's kind of a mathematical term, as you math people know. And cumulative, one added to another, okay? So it might help you a little bit with those two words if you have any questions about that. Excuse me, I'm getting my computer to wake up again, hopefully. Hang on. There we go. I'm so sorry. So let's look at this sentence. Have you heard about Joe's tragic, untimely death? An untimely death, a death that has happened before its time, maybe an accident to someone far too young. How do I decide if I need a comma between tragic and untimely? I can do a couple of little tests. The first test I can do is I can say, would the conjunction and make sense in this sentence? Have you heard about Joe's tragic and untimely death? Yes, that works. So I can put and there. That tells me that these are coordinate conjunctions and I need to put a comma. The other test that I can apply here is the test of reversing the adjectives. Have you heard about Joe's untimely, tragic death? Okay? Does it make sense if I reverse untimely and tragic? Yes, it does, because of importance. In this sentence, these two words fall along that coordinate, that straight line, because one is equal in importance to the other in the sentence. I want both of them in my sentence to make my point. They both are necessary to an equal extent. So these adjectives get a comma, regardless of how I decide in the end to use them, okay? Or I could always write the sentence with the conjunction. All right, let's try one more. Here. A happier one, how about that? And I'm going to use cursive. The beautiful, colorful butterfly landed on my potted flowers. Okay. Can I use and between my adjectives beautiful and colorful? Yes, I can. The beautiful and colorful butterfly landed on my potted flowers. Could I reverse the order and have the sentence still make sense? The colorful, beautiful butterfly. Yes, I could do that. They are equally important in my sentence. They pass the test, so they get a comma. let's try one with 3 adjectives, all right? Last night, I watched a scary, long, and distressing movie. Okay. Last night I watched a scary, long, distressing movie. Let's check it out by reversing the order. Last night I watched a distressing, long, scary movie. Works just fine. Last night I watched a long, scary, distressing movie. Okay? I can move them around. Let's see if I could put in and. Last night I watched a scary, long, and distressing movie. Yes. Last night I watched a long, distressing, and scary movie. Yes. Okay, so these are coordinate coordinate adjectives, excuse me. I can move the order of them around. They each have equal importance, and I can use and in there if I so choose to do so. All right. Let's take a look at cumulative adjectives. So when adjectives do not pass the test that we just gave on those sentences that verified that they are that they were coordinate adjectives, then the adjectives are cumulative. And